Access your free language gifts right now before they expire. Here's what you're getting this month. First, the Buying Electronics Conversation Cheat Sheet. With this new cheat sheet, you'll learn how to talk about electronics and what phrases to use at the store. Download it for free right now. Second, our printable visual flashcards. Want to speak more of the language? You'll need to learn more words. And with our new printable visual flashcards, you'll know over 1,500 words. Just download and print them out. Third, 30 must-know legal vocabulary. Learn how to say court, law, illegal, and much more with this quick 1-minute lesson. Fourth, how to talk about feeling excited. If you want to talk about your feelings, then this next lesson will teach you 13 words for excitement in just a few minutes. Fifth, must-know Mother's Day vocabulary. Can you say Mother's Day in your target language? You'll be able to with this quick 1-minute vocabulary lesson. Sixth, tired of apps that just teach you random words? With our innovative language learning app, you learn through conversations and start speaking in minutes because the audio and video lessons are just 3 to 15 minutes long. Learning is that easy. Download it for free for the Android, iPhone, and iPad. And finally, the deal of the month. If you want to finally master the language with lessons by real teachers and our complete language learning program, get up to 35% off with our Ready, Set, Speak sale. To get your gifts and language learning resources, click the link in the description below. Download them right now before they expire.
Hi, 大家好，我是李音如。Hi everyone, I'm Yinru Li. In this lesson, you will learn how to tell someone your phone number in Chinese. When giving phone numbers in Chinese, we say each digit separately. So first, let's take a look at how we say the 10 single-digit numbers in Chinese. So from the smallest to the biggest, 0、1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9. Now let's count down from 9 to 0. Okay, here we go. 9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1、0. Okay, now a special note on this number 1, 1. Usually number 1 is said as 1, but when giving a phone number, the number 1 is often said as 1. 1. The reason is that number 1 and number 7, 1、7, they're pretty close. So to avoid any confusion, we usually say number 1 as 1 in a string of numbers, such as in a phone number. So in phone numbers, number 1 is often said as 1. Okay, now let's read all these numbers one more time. Feel free to read after me. 0、1、1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9. Good job. Next, we're gonna hear a dialogue. Someone is registering her phone number in an office. So here is how the dialogue goes. 您的电话号码是多少？我的电话号码是123-0198-7654. One more time, a bit slower. 您的电话号码是多少？我的电话号码是123-0198-7654. Now let's take a closer look at this dialogue. First is the question, 您的电话号码是多少？ So 您的 您的 it's your, but this is the polite your because we used 您 instead of 你. So because this is someone talking to their customer, someone they're serving, that's why they use this 您, the polite 您. But if you're just in everyday life, you're talking to your friends or classmates, you can just use 你的. That is also polite. 你的电话号码电话 telephone 号码 number together 电话号码 phone number 是 is 多少多少 is a question word that is used to ask about numbers 多少 so together 您的电话号码是多少 now the answer 我的电话号码是 this number. Okay, first 我的 my 电话号码 phone number is this number. Okay, now we put some spaces between the numbers, but usually in China, when you're given a phone number either on a business card or on an ad, there's often no space or hyphens between the long number. But it's a good idea to put pauses when you say the phone number, when you give one your phone number. A common way to do it is after the first 3 digits, 停一下, put the pause there, and the next 4 digits, 停一下, put the pause there, and the last 4 digits, such as 123 0198 7654. Okay, now let's look at 2 more examples of giving your phone number in Chinese. 我的电话号码是 So what is this phone number? 1116689 7789. 我的电话号码是1116689 7789. Okay, let's try one more. This one is, first let's look at this number, see if you can say it. Now let's do it together. 我的电话号码是123 1234 5678. You can also say it as 123 1234 5678. It's not wrong, but it's you will hear 123 a lot when you hear phone numbers in Chinese. So the pattern to give your phone number in Chinese is 我的电话号码是 phone number. My phone number is phone number. Simple as that. Now let's review. Do you remember the basic way to say 1? E. And how do you say 1 in a phone number? Yao. Do you remember how to say 2? R. And how to say 3? San. Do you remember how to say 4? Si. And how to say 5? Wu. Do you remember how to say 6? Liu. And how to say 7? Qi. Do you remember how to say 8? Ba. And how to say 9? 9 9 and how to say 0 0 0 Do you remember how to say phone number? 电话号码电话号码 Do you remember how to say my? 我的我的 Now do you remember how to say my phone number is 123-0198-7654? 我的电话号码是123-0198-7654。我的电话号码是123-0198-7654。Well done! In this lesson, you learned how to tell someone your phone number in Chinese. That's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching. I'm Yinru, and I'll see you again on ChineseClass101.com. 再见。
Hi, 大家好，我是李韵如。Hi everyone, my name is Yinru Li. In this lesson, we'll talk about family members in Chinese. It is true that Chinese family tree, the kinship terms are very complicated, especially when it gets to father's side, mother's side, aunts, uncle, cousins, and all that, because everybody has their own title. But in this lesson, we'll be covering the basics, which is the immediate family members. Okay, first here I have a sort of family tree. You are here, this is 我, and I have my parents and siblings. So first, father in Chinese is 爸爸, 爸爸, father. And mother in Chinese is 妈妈, 妈妈, okay? 爸爸, mama. Now let's look at your siblings. Okay, the brother who is older than you in Chinese is 哥哥, 哥哥, 哥哥. And the sister who's older than you is your 姐姐, 姐姐, 姐, 姐姐. And the brother who's younger than you is your 弟弟, 弟弟. And you also have a little sister. She's your 妹妹, 妹妹. So your siblings are 哥哥, 姐姐, 弟弟, 妹妹. 哥哥, 姐姐, 弟弟, 妹妹, 爸爸, 妈妈. All the family members are made up of words of this repeated syllable and character. Well, this may sound like baby talk to you, but this is not the case in Chinese. They're perfectly normal and proper. Now, let's move on to the family member terms as a parent. Now, you are the father now, okay? And your wife in Chinese is 老婆, 老婆. 老婆 literally means old lady. So your wife is your old lady even if she's 20-year-old. 老婆, 老婆, wife. Now all your male offspring, they are your 儿子. Okay, 儿子, 儿子. And your female offspring, they are your 女儿, 女儿, daughter. Okay, 儿子, 女儿, 老婆. Now, you are the mother, you're the queen of the family, and your husband is your 老公, 老公. And the literal meaning of 老公 is just like 老婆, old man. So your old man is your husband, 老公.
Okay, and the same with sons and daughters. Son, 儿子，儿子。Daughter, 女儿，女儿。One thing I'd like to point out is that 老公 and 老婆, these two words are relatively informal and casual. So if you're in a super formal setting, like you're in a formal banquet or you're writing a letter to an official, you should avoid using 老公 and 老婆. In that case, you will be some other terms to refer to your wife and husband. Okay, now the family members one more time. 爸爸，爸爸，妈妈，妈妈，哥哥，哥哥，姐姐，姐姐，弟弟，弟弟，妹妹，妹妹，老婆，老婆，老公，老公，儿子，儿子，女儿，女儿。Perfect. Now, in the next part, you will hear a dialogue. Two coworkers are chatting, and one of them is showing a picture on her phone. Now, let's listen to a dialogue and try to figure out who is this person on the phone. Okay, ready? 这是谁？这是我老公。One more time, a bit slower. 这是谁？这是我老公。Now, this person on the girl's phone is her husband. Okay, now let's look at the question first. The question is 这是谁? Which literally means this is who, but it's used to ask, who is this? So the answer goes 这是我老公。这是 this is 我老公 my husband. 这是我老公 This is my husband. Now let's imagine you are showing a picture of your son. In this case, you would say 这是我儿子。儿子 is son. 这是我儿子。Now you are showing a picture of your sister, who is a few years younger than you. You would say 这是我妹妹。这是我妹妹。Okay, now you're showing a picture of your older brother. So, 这是我哥哥。这是我哥哥。Now you're showing off your beautiful wife on the phone of her picture. So you point at the picture and you say, 这是我老婆。这是我老婆。Now you can see a pattern, right? 这是我 plus family members used to say this is my, it's used to introduce your family member. Okay? 这是 this is 我 in this case doesn't really mean I or me. It is the shortened form of the possessive pronoun 我的. But in this case, the "the" is dropped because the following noun is a family member. So if the following noun is somebody who is close to you, who has a close relationship with you, you can drop the "the" in the possessive pronoun. So you can say 这是我老公, but 这是我的老公 is also correct. So it's correct to use this. The only difference is if you drop the "the", it sounds more colloquial, more casual. Okay? So 这是我老公，这是我儿子，这是我妹妹，这是我哥哥，这是我老婆。Now let's review. Do you remember how to say father?爸爸. And how to say mother? 妈妈 Mama. Do you remember how to say older sister? 姐姐 姐姐 And how to say younger sister? 妹妹妹妹 Do you remember how to say older brother? 哥哥哥哥 And how to say younger brother? 弟弟弟弟 Do you remember how to say daughter? 女儿女儿 And how to say son? 儿子儿子 Do you remember how to say wife? 老婆老婆 And how to say husband? 老公老公 Do you remember how to say my husband? 我老公我老公 And do you remember how to say this? 这 Do you remember how to say this is my husband? 这是我老公这是我老公 Well done! In this lesson, you've learned Chinese family members. That's it for this lesson. Thanks for watching. I'm Yinru, and I see you again on ChineseClass101.com. 再见。Hi, 大家好，我是李妍如。Hi everyone, I'm Yinru Li. Welcome to Chinese Whiteboard Lessons. Do you use small talk to start your conversations? And have you ever talked about weather in your small talk? In this lesson, we'll take a look at how to make small talk about weather in Chinese. First, we're going to hear a dialogue. So two neighbors meet in the elevator, and here is how they start their conversation. Let's take a listen. 今天好热。是啊，太热了。Okay, let's listen to it one more time, a bit slower. 今天好热。是啊，太热了。All right, now this is our dialogue you just heard. So the first sentence, 今天好热。今天好热 means today it's so hot. 今天好热. So this means today is so hot. And the response starts with 是啊。是啊 is a very colloquial and emphatic way to agree with someone, which means yeah or yes it is in English. 是啊. And the second part of the response, 太热了 means too hot. 太热了. So 是啊，太热了 means yeah. So too hot. Okay, 今天好热 Today is so hot. 是啊，太热了 Yeah, too hot. Now let's say today is very cold. So you can say 今天好冷。今天好冷 Today is so cold. Now let's say today is pretty warm. And you can say 今天好暖和。今天好暖和 Today is so warm. So 今天好热 今天好冷，今天好暖和. Are you starting to see a pattern here? So the pattern we can use to talk about the weather today, in particular the comfort level, the temperature of today's weather, is 今天好, and then you put a weather-related adjective here, or a comfort level adjective here, which means today it's so something. Okay, so 今天 means today, and 好 in this sentence, in this case, 好 is an adverb that's used to describe a degree, a pretty high degree, which means so something, and it's used very commonly in colloquial, in everyday language. 好怎么怎么样，今天好 and then your adjective. Now I want you to pay attention to the sentence structure of this sentence, this pattern, okay? 今天 is a noun, a subject. And then 好 is an adverb, right? And then it's just an adjective. So unlike English, there's subject, noun, linking verb, then adverb, adjective. In Chinese, there's no linking verb, okay? It's just noun, adverb, and adjective. 今天好 adjective. We don't use 今天是 which is the linking verb in Chinese. We don't say 今天是好热 or 今天是热. Instead, we use noun, adverb, adjective. So this is a very important and very basic common Chinese grammar. So please remember this. Noun, adverb, adjective. Sometimes we don't even use the adverb. It's just noun, adjective, but it's more common, it's most common when there is a noun, an adverb, and adjective. In this case, the noun is 今天, the adverb is 好, and then your adjective. For example, 今天好热, noun, 今天, adverb, adjective, 热. 今天好冷, 今天好暖和. And here are a list of the common weather-related adjective or comfort level-related adjective you can plug in this pattern. Now first, we know 热. 热 means hot. 热. The opposite of 热 is 冷. 冷 means cold. So 热, 冷. Now 暖和, we also talked about 暖和 here, which means warm. So 暖和 is in the context of the weather as being very cold for a while. And then now the temperature rises. That's when you feel 暖和, 暖和, warm. And the opposite of 暖和, similarly, when the weather has been very hot for a while and now the temperature drops, that's when you feel 凉快, 凉快. 暖和 and 凉快. For example, spring is warm, so you can say warm spring. 暖和的春天, 暖和的春天. And the fall, it's often very cool, so you can say 凉快的秋天, 凉快的秋天. Okay, now the third pair is something that's good to know, but if you feel like it's already too much for you to memorize for this lesson, it's okay. You don't have to memorize these, but they're good to know. 干燥. 干燥 means dry. 干燥. The opposite of 干燥 is 潮湿, humid. 潮湿. So you can say 干燥的秋天, dry fall, and 潮湿的春天, humid spring. So it's especially true for the south part of China where I'm from. It's really humid, 很潮湿 in the spring. So let's go over these vocabulary words one more time. Feel free to read after me. Let's go this way. 热, 热, 暖和, 暖和, 干燥, 干燥, 冷, 冷, 凉快, 凉快, 潮湿, 潮湿. So to use these in a pattern, for example, we can say 今天好凉快. Today is so cool, temperature-wise. 今天好凉快, or 今天好干燥. Today is so dry. Okay, now let's go back to the dialogue. Now we know the setting of this dialogue. It's on a hot day. 今天好热. And the key word is 热, right? Hot, 热. So do you see 热 anywhere else in this dialogue? Yes, it's also used in the response line. 太热了, too hot. 太热了 means too hot. We can use the adjective also in this pattern, this phrase pattern. 太 adjective 热 to say it's too something. Okay, 太热了, it's too hot. Or you can say 太凉快了, it's so cool. And 太潮湿了, it's too humid. So there you have it. There are two patterns you can use to make small talk about the weather. 今天好怎么样? Today is so. And 太 adjective 热, it's too something. Let's review. Do you remember how to say hot? 热 And how to say today? 今天 Do you remember how to say today it's so hot? 今天好热 Do you remember how to say cold? 冷 And how to say cool? 凉快 Do you remember how to say warm? 暖和 Well done! In this lesson, you've learned how to make small talk about the weather. Thank you for watching. I'm Yinru, and I'll see you again on ChineseClass101.com. 再见. Hi, 大家好，我是李嫣如. Hi everyone, my name is Yinru Li. In this lesson, we'll talk about how to ask for clarification in Chinese. Wait a second. Clarification, what is that? What does that mean? Well, when we don't understand someone or when we didn't hear someone very well, we check with the person we are speaking with to make sure we understand them correctly. This is asking for clarification. Well, in Chinese, there are a few different ways to do that, of course. And here I have listed 10 phrases, 10 sentences you can use to ask for clarification under different circumstances. The first group is when you don't understand or hear someone very well, you can say these. First, 你说什么?你说什么?你说什么 means what did you say? 你 is you, and 说 is to say, and 什么 is what. So you said what? What did you say? 你说什么? Okay, this is a good one to use with someone we have a close relationship with. But when you're speaking with someone who's older than you, or who is your boss, or people you don't know really very well yet, it's always safer and more polite to add a excuse me or I'm sorry. So you can say 不好意思，你说什么？不好意思，你说什么？ I'm sorry, what did you say? Okay, the next one is 我没听清。我没听清 means I didn't hear clearly. So 我没听清 I didn't hear you clearly. I didn't hear it very well. 我没听清。你说什么？我没听清。Okay, the third one 我听不懂。我听不懂 is probably something you have seen in a Chinese survival phrases handbook or cheat sheet. So suppose you're a foreigner who's traveling to China and you don't speak the language yet, and some Chinese person just started speaking Chinese to you, you can use this phrase. 我听不懂, I don't understand. Please don't speak Chinese to me. I don't understand. 我听不懂. 我听不懂. This can be also used in other settings. For example, in a classroom, when your teacher just explained something, but it just didn't make sense to you, so you can say 我听不懂. I don't understand. 我听不懂. Well, next is a set of phrases that are useful for language learners, especially beginners. So these are asking people to repeat what they said or to say it slowly. Okay, first one, 请再说一遍. 请再说一遍 means please say it again. 请 means please. We often use 请 at the beginning of a verb phrase to politely ask someone to do something like 请 do this, okay? 请怎么怎么样. And next, 再 means again. 再说 means to say, and 一遍 means one time. So 请再说一遍 literally is please again say one time, or more naturally, please say it one more time, or please say it again. Okay. Well, 请再说一遍 can be used in a question form to make a request. 能再说一遍吗？能再说一遍吗？ We know 再说一遍 is to say it one more time, say it again. And 能 means can. And 吗 is just a question marker. So 能再说一遍吗 translate to can you say it one more time, even though the subject 你能再说一遍的你 is omitted here. 能再说一遍吗 Can you say it one more time? Okay. Next, 请说慢一点 is also in the 请 form, right? Please. Please say 说慢 slow 一点 a bit. 请说慢一点 Please say it slowly, or please say it slower. 请说慢一点. If we change this into the 能 question form, it's 能说慢一点吗? Can you say it slower? Can you say it slowly? 能说慢一点吗? Well, the 请 something and 能什么什么吗 something, they're pretty interchangeable. The only slight difference is that 请 may sound a little formal, like a little official, 请 to do something. And 能 something 吗 is a probably more personal, more colloquial, more gentle. All right. Well, next few phrases involve writing and reading. So when you have a hard time communicating with someone through, conversation, speaking, or listening, it might be a good idea just to write things down, just to be clear. So when you ask someone, can you write it down for me in Chinese, you can say, 能写下来吗? 能写下来吗 is also in the 能什么什么吗 form. So 写 means to write, and 下来 down. So 写下来 write it down. 能写下来吗 Can you write it down? 能写下来吗 Now, if you can read in Chinese, which is pretty awesome because reading in Chinese is challenging. But if you can read and you're reading something and some word just doesn't make sense to you, you don't know what that means, you can check by saying 这个是什么意思?这个是什么意思 means what does this mean? 这个 this 是 is 什么 what 意思 meaning. So together 这个是什么意思 this is what meaning, or what does this mean? 这个是什么意思? Alright, so this is for checking the meaning of something. When you want to check the reading, the pronunciation of something, you can say 这个怎么念?这个怎么念?这个 this 怎么 how to 念 read 这个怎么念 this how to read, or how do you read this? 这个怎么念 All right, last I have a little bonus phrase for you. You don't have to learn to say this in this lesson, but it's good to know. So like I said, Chinese writing and reading are pretty challenging because the pronunciation system and the writing system are totally separate. So for one syllable, when you say something, it could be, a few different corresponding characters to that syllable. So this is especially common when we learn someone's name or when we have to write down someone's name and we're not sure which character we should write down. So for example, this person's name is Hong. So she said, my name is Hong, and you said, okay, which Hong? In this case, you would say 哪个红? 哪个 means which, and then you can put whichever character you're checking with here. 哪个什么什么? 哪个 which one? Okay? So here are the 10 phrases we can use to ask for clarification in Chinese. And next, we're gonna hear a dialogue. So this young man is meeting his neighbor and he's introducing himself, but the neighbor didn't really catch his name, so he asked for clarification. Now let's hear the dialogue and find out how the neighbor does it. Okay, ready? 我叫黄宏伟啊，不好意思，能再说一遍吗？ One more time, a bit slower. 我叫黄宏伟，不好意思，能再说一遍吗？ Okay, so the phrase the neighbor uses to ask for clarification is 能再说一遍吗? Can you say it one more time? Can you say it again? Okay, so the first line of this dialogue is a way to make self-introduction to introduce your own name. 我叫, I'm called, my name is. 我叫黄宏伟. Okay, then the neighbor didn't catch the name, so he first apologizes by saying, 不好意思, I'm sorry. 能再说一遍吗? Can you say it one more time? 不好意思，能再说一遍吗? Okay, next let's look at a few more scenarios just to practice, okay? For example, you are studying Chinese, you're learning Chinese in a Chinese classroom, and the teacher just taught you a new phrase, but she said it kind of fast, like what I'm doing now maybe. She said it too fast and you wanted to ask her to slow down. So how do you say that to her? You can use 请说慢一点 or 能说慢一点吗? So you can use this one or this one. So you can say 老师请说慢一点 or 老师能说慢一点吗? 老师 means teacher. So you can just say 老师请说慢一点老师能说慢一点吗? Okay, now let's say you are talking with your friend on the phone, but the connection, the signal is bad. So you tell the friend that, what did you say? I didn't hear you very well. How do you say that? 你说什么？我没听清。你说什么？ Let's put it here. 你说什么？我没听清。 All right, third one. Let's say your neighbor just told you about this awesome restaurant and you really want to check it out. So you ask the neighbor to write down the address and name of the restaurant for you so you can show the taxi driver. So how do you ask him to write it down for you? You can say, 能写下来吗? Can you write it down? Could you write it down? 能写下来吗? Good job. Now let's review. Do you remember how to say, what did you say? 你说什么？你说什么？ And how to say, I didn't hear it very well. 我没听清。我没听清。Do you remember how to say, I don't understand.我听不懂。我听不懂。Do you remember how to say, please say it again? 请再说一遍。请再说一遍。And how to say, please say it slowly. 请说慢一点儿。请说慢一点儿。Do you remember how to say, can you say it again? 能再说一遍吗？能再说一遍吗？ And how to say, can you say it slowly? 能说慢一点吗？能说慢一点吗？ Do you remember how to say, can you write it down? 能写下来吗？能写下来吗？ And how to say, what does this mean? 这个是什么意思？这个是什么意思？ And how to say, how do you read this? 这个怎么念？这个怎么念？ Well done! In this lesson, you've learned 10 phrases to ask for clarification in Chinese. That's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching. I'm Yin Ru, and I see you again on ChineseClass101.com. 再见.
This is Karen Lee, and she's waiting in line at a coffee shop with her husband. The barista turns to Karen and says, "What would you like?"
您要什么？
Listen to the conversation and focus on Karen's response. Ready?
您要什么？
2份这个，
Once more with the English translation.
您要什么？
What would you like?
2份这个，
2 of these.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation.
Do you remember how the waiter says, "What would you like?"
您要什么？
First is
您
the formal you when addressing people of higher social status, such as seniors and customers.
您
Next is
要
to want or to need, but translating as would like in this context.
要
After that is
什么
what.
什么
Together,
您要什么
literally, you want what, but translates as what would you like?
您要什么？
Let's take a closer look at the response.
Do you remember how Karen says 2 of these?
2份这个，
First is
2
2. This way of saying the number 2 is used before a measure word.
2
Next is
份
a measure word meaning serving or order.
份
Together,
2份
2 orders.
2份
After that is
这个
this.
这个，这个，
Pronunciation note.
这个，
Can be pronounced as
这个，
or
这个，这个，
is more common in everyday speech. Altogether,
2份这个，
2 orders of these. But in more natural English, 2 of these.
2份这个，
Note, this pattern is the shortened form of
我要2份这个，
I would like 2 of these.
我要2份这个，我
I,
我
after that is
要
would like in this context.
要
The speaker omits,
我要
as it is understood from the conversation.
2份这个，
The pattern is
number 份这个
number of these.
number 份这个
To use this pattern, simply replace the number placeholder with the number of items you're requesting. Imagine you'd like 3 of something you don't know the Chinese word for. 3,
三三三
say 3 of these. Ready?
3份这个，
3 of these.
3份这个，
When talking about a specific number of things in Chinese, not only do you need a number, but also a measure word before the noun. For example, in our dialogue, we use the number 2, 2, plus the measure word 份, order, before the item. In Chinese, there are hundreds of measure words for different types of things. A good measure word to start with for beginners is 个, which is a general measure word that goes with almost everything. For example, 一个面包, one piece of bread. 两个香蕉, two bananas. Or 三个这个, three of these.
Let's look at some more examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
2份这个，2份这个，
3份这个， 3份这个，
4份这个，4份这个，
1份这个，1份这个，
要2份这个和1份这个。要2份这个和1份这个。Did you notice how I used a different pattern? 要2份这个和1份这个。
I would like 2 of these and 1 of these. First is
要
a shortened form of
我要
I'd like.
要
The speaker omitted the subject,
我
I, and used only the verb
要
would like.
要2份这个
I'd like 2 of these.
要2份这个
When pointing out multiple items, you can join them with the conjunction
和
meaning and.
和
Pronunciation note. When
一
1 is followed by a fourth tone. It changes to the second tone,
一
such as
一份一份
here is the variation pattern.
要 number 份这个和 number 份这个
I'd like number of these and number of these. You should be aware of this pattern, but you won't need it for this lesson. Let's review the key vocabulary.
四
4,
四四三
3,
三三一
1,
一一
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say the measure word for order or serving? 份 份 And how to say 2 orders of something? 两份两份 And do you remember how Karen Lee says 2 of these?
"2份这个
两份这个 Do you remember how to say what? 什么什么 And the polite way to say you. 年年 Do you remember how the waiter says, "What would you like?"
您要什么？
您要什么 Do you remember how to say 3? 三三 And how to say 4? 四四 Do you remember how to say 1? 一一
Let's practice. Imagine you're Ben Lee, and you're at the coffee shop with 2 friends. Order 3 of these. Ready?
您要什么？
三份这个，
Listen again and repeat.
三份这个， 三份这个，
Let's try another. Imagine you're Sasha Lee, and you're at the coffee shop with 3 friends. Order for 4 people. Ready?
您要什么？
4份这个
Listen again and repeat.
4份这个4份这个
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Mark Lee, and you're by yourself. Order 1 of something by saying, 1 of these. Ready?
您要什么？
一份这个，
Listen again and repeat.
一份这个，一份这个。
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. In this lesson, you'll learn conversational phrases to comment on a joke. After watching this video, you'll be able to compliment or criticize anyone on their sense of humor. Now let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
哈哈，你太逗了。
Once more with the English translation.
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
Why is the math book sad? Because it has so many problems.
哈哈，你太逗了。
Haha, you're so funny. First of all, let's listen to the joke again. Why is the math book sad? Because it has so many problems. That's
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
Listen to it again.
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
Now, how do you react to a joke? First, you'll need to learn how to say ha ha. That's
哈哈，哈哈，
Then you'll need to learn how to say you're so adjective. The pattern is
你太
adjective.
了。
This Chinese sentence literally translates as you too adjective, but it means you're so adjective. For example, you're so funny.
你太逗了。你太逗了。
Here are a few more words you can use with the same pattern. Funny,
逗，逗，
funny,
逗，
awesome,
棒，棒，
awesome,
棒，
boring,
无聊，无聊，
boring,
无聊，
strange,
奇怪，奇怪，
strange,
奇怪。
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
你太棒了。
Why is the math book sad? Because it has so many problems.
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
You're so awesome.
你太棒了。
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
你太无聊了。
Why is the math book sad? Because it has so many problems.
为什么数学书 很伤心，因为他有太多问题。
You're so boring.
你太无聊了。
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
你太奇怪了。
Why is the math book sad? Because it has so many problems.
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
You're so strange.
你太奇怪了。
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember what the joke was?
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
Imagine you think it was awesome. Do you remember how to say awesome?
棒，棒，
Say, you're so awesome.
你太棒了。
Now, react to the joke saying the other person is awesome.
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
你太棒了。
Now imagine you think it was boring. Do you remember how to say boring?
无聊，无聊。
Say, you're so boring.
你太无聊了。
Now, react to the joke saying the other person is boring.
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
你太无聊了。
Now, imagine you think it was strange. Do you remember how to say strange?
奇怪，奇怪。
Say, you're so strange.
你太奇怪了。
Now, react to the joke saying the other person is strange.
为什么数学书很伤心？因为它有太多问题。
你太奇怪了。
In this lesson, you learned new vocabulary and phrases you can use in your everyday life to compliment or criticize anyone on their sense of humor. You're now able to comment on a joke like a native speaker. How are your Chinese listening skills? First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end.
一名女子正在和图书馆的工作人员说话。女子接下来会做什么？打扰一下，我想找一本医学词典。
医学词典吗？请等一下。医学词典在4楼。
4楼怎么去？你能告诉我吗？
没问题，但是不是所有那层楼的书都可以借。
哦，是吗？
是的，3楼有复印机，如果有需要，你可以去复印。
复印，我要查很多东西，所以可能要花很长时间。
说的也是，不过附近还有一家图书馆， 你可以去那里问问看。
是吗？那我先去那家。如果他们没有，我就去书店看看。女子接下来会做什么？一名女子正在和图书馆的工作人员说话。女子接下来会做什么？打扰一下，我想找一本医学词典。
医学词典吗？请等一下。医学词典在4楼。
4楼怎么去？你能告诉我吗？
没问题。但是不是所有那层楼的书都可以借。
哦，是吗？
是的，3楼有复印机。如果有需要，你可以去复印。
复印，我要查很多东西，所以可能要花很长时间。
说的也是。不过附近还有一家图书馆，你可以去那里问问看。
是吗？那我先去那家。如果他们没有，我就去书店看看。
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is how tipping points will bring you closer to your language goals. If you've been learning a language for some time, you know that real progress takes time, that you won't see instant results in the next 5 minutes. And this can be discouraging for many learners. But don't worry, there are secret signs of success that you're on the right track and that you're going to make it. And they're called tipping points. You may not notice them immediately, but you'll always notice them in hindsight. So today you'll discover what tipping points are, how to know that you're on the right track with your language learning, how to reach tipping points, and much more. But first, if you're looking for new free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Buying Electronics Conversation Cheat Sheet. With this new cheat sheet, you'll learn how to talk about electronics and what phrases to use at the store. Download it for free right now. Second, our printable visual flashcards. Want to speak more of the language? You'll need to learn more words. And with our new printable visual flashcards, you'll know over 1,500 words. Just download and print them out. Third, 30 must-know legal vocabulary. Learn how to say court, law, illegal, and much more with this quick 1-minute lesson. Fourth, how to talk about feeling excited. If you want to talk about your feelings, then this next lesson will teach you 13 words for excitement in just a few minutes. And fifth, must-know Mother's Day vocabulary. Can you say Mother's Day in your target language? You'll be able to with this quick 1-minute vocabulary lesson. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. How tipping points will bring you closer to your language goals. Part 1. Why tipping points are crucial for confidence in language learning. So, what's a tipping point? A tipping point is a point that you reach, or a small victory, and it gives you confidence that you're going to make it. It's a sign that you're on the right track. Here's a non-language example. Imagine a gym on a Friday night, and not at 5 p.m., I mean at 10 p.m. What does it look like to you? It probably looks empty to me, like a library on a Friday night. But if you've ever been to a gym on a Friday night, there's a very interesting group of people. The most fit people you'll ever see are there. Why is this a big deal? Well, of all the things you could be doing on a Friday night, if you naturally decide to work on your fitness or any goal that you have, then that's a good sign. So what about language learning? It works the same way with languages. If you find yourself learning and practicing a language on a Friday night instead of watching Netflix, if you're taking language lessons with our innovative language learning app instead of playing a game on your smartphone, If you're watching our video lessons instead of watching random YouTube videos, then you've reached a tipping point. These are all examples of tipping points. It's when you, your actions, and your free time shift away from usual routines like watching TV towards the goals you really want, like mastering a language. That's a tipping point, and it's crucial for your confidence and overall language learning. It's evidence that you're on the right track and you're going to make it. And you might wonder, how is it evidence if I don't see any progress just yet? It does take a bit of time to make progress with language, but the answer is simple. Language learning is a lot like anything else you do in life. It comes down to where you put in your time. It's like Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000-hour rule. You need time. Languages don't need 10,000 hours per se, but the principle is the same. If someone spends an hour every day on language and has done that for the past 2 years, that's a lot of time. So you can guarantee that this person is speaking the language with no problems, simply because of the time they put in. So, what about you? How can you know if you're on the right track in reaching these tipping points? Let's get into the second part. Part 2. How you can tell when you're reaching a tipping point. Picture it like this. You're learning a language in your free time. You have a small goal set. Now, within your daily routines, you start making certain choices. Between watching TV and mastering a language, you start putting more time into language. Exactly. Last week, you started with 10 minutes of learning and 50 minutes of TV. Then it grows. You spend 20 minutes on language, 40 on TV, and then 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And soon it overtakes your typical routines. That's exactly how tipping points happen. So take a look at how much time you spend on a language and take a look at your recent choices of activities. If you're learning a language with your smartphone instead of playing a mobile game, if you're spending more time watching language videos instead of regular YouTube videos, and if you're learning on a Friday night as a personal choice, that's how you know you've reached a tipping point. Tipping points are something you won't notice immediately, but you will realize in hindsight. But the point is, when you find yourself choosing language over something else, that's a sign that you're going to make it. And if you want to actively reach these tipping points, then it's just a matter of putting in more time. Again, if you started with 10 minutes a day last week, bring yourself up to 11 or 12 minutes a day this week. Simply adjust your routine and add more time. For example, we often recommend you to set small, measurable goals with a deadline every month. So if you are, aim a little higher with your next goal. Add an extra few minutes to your routines. Now, back to you. Now that you learned about tipping points, do you think you've reached any? Leave us a comment. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about your first steps to learning a language, the Fundamentals Welcome Pack. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! You want to learn the language, but it's hard to find effective lessons that are made by real teachers and that actually build on top of each other, where you're learning new things and reviewing what you've already learned. Well, that's exactly how our audio and video lessons inside our learning program work. How to learn language fast with audio and video lessons. 4 tricks inside. In this guide, you'll discover 1. How to learn practical conversations in just minutes. 2. 4 tips that'll help you absorb the language and master lessons fast. And 3. How to get our brand new lessons for free. But first, if you don't yet have access to our learning program, click the link down in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now. First, so, what makes these language lessons so effective? Each lesson is around 3 to 15 minutes in length, making it super easy to breeze through and absorb the language. You're not reading walls of text, but listening to actual native speakers teach you a language. Just press play to start. First, you hear a practical conversation. Then you hear it again slowly with translations. Then, our teachers explain the vocabulary, grammar points, and cultural nuances. Finally, you hear the conversation one last time, and at this point, you understand a lot more than you did the first time you heard the lesson, which is exciting for a language learner, especially when you didn't understand anything before. And you can even start speaking if you repeat along. All of this takes just a few minutes. Then, Mark the lesson as complete and move on to the next lesson in our learning pathway, where you'll learn even more and get to review some of the words and grammar points from prior lessons. 2. There are a few special tips and tricks you can do to master the lessons even faster. You can read along with our free lesson transcript so that you can pick apart every word that you hear. You can immerse yourself with the premium dialogue track that gives you just the conversation, with no translations. If you have a question, you can leave a comment on the lessons and our teachers will respond. And you can replay and review the lesson as much as you want, so you can learn at your own pace. So, how do you get access to the lessons? You get the lessons the moment you sign up for a free lifetime account and set your level. Based on your level, you'll get a learning pathway of lessons that's right for you. Just start there with Lesson 1. You can also access your next lesson on the dashboard. And you can learn on the go, for example, on a walk, on your way to work, or while waiting in line at the store with our free app. And as an extra bonus, you get our newest lessons for free. We release 3 to 4 new lessons a week, so you get new lessons every week non-stop. Find them inside the Lessons drop-down menu, in Newest Lessons, or inside the menu on the app. But first, if you don't yet have access to our learning program, click the link down in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Do you feel like you don't speak enough of your target language? That you need to know more words? Then stick around. With these lessons, you'll pick up some of the most common words in just a few minutes. Now, this video is a small portion of our learning program. To get the full lessons, translations, and Fluency Fast study tools, click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account. Learning a language is tough because it's hard to remember every single thing that you learn. But what if you had a cheat sheet with the must-know words, phrases, and grammar rules, where you can glance through and review everything in a minute or two? If you do that enough times, then the language will become natural. How to learn a language 2 times faster with PDF cheat sheets. And in this guide, you'll discover 1. How to learn and retain hundreds of words and phrases with our cheat sheets, 2. How to unlock over 30 cheat sheets, and much more. But first, if you don't yet have access to our learning program, the lessons and special cheat sheets like this, click the link down in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now. First, what are these cheat sheets? With our learning program, you'll learn the language with bite-sized audio and video courses, and as a bonus, you get PDF cheat sheets to help you review the language. These cheat sheets cover must-know topics like weather, family, talking about hobbies, and much more. There are over 30 cheat sheets inside. Inside each cheat sheet, you get the words, phrases, and helpful sentence patterns related to the topic that you can quickly review whenever you have a minute or two. Now, how can you learn faster with these cheat sheets? Just download a cheat sheet, print it, keep it nearby, and glance through as much as possible. Eventually, you'll know all of the words and phrases in and out, simply because you've seen the words enough times. It's all about exposure to the language. The more you're exposed to the language, the better you'll remember it. And you can always save the PDFs to your device, but having physical cheat sheets makes it easy to pick one up and glance through. Otherwise, they'll sit somewhere on your phone or computer, along with the many other language learning apps you haven't been using. How can you get access to our PDF cheat sheets? Just click the link in the description and sign up for a free lifetime account to get our learning program and these bonus cheat sheets. Once you've signed up, come back to the special PDF lessons page by clicking the link in the description. Remember, here's what you can do to learn all of these words by heart. Drill these words with our spaced repetition flashcards, which will help cement these words into your long-term memory. Save them to the Word Bank, your personal vocabulary collection where you can print out your own study sheets, or review the words with our looped vocabulary slideshow and play it until you know all of the words. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to get these lessons and study tools. Great work! Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.